One of the problems of Chinese perception of Buddhism was the figure of the creator, or the founder of Buddhism, Buddha Gautama, or Prince Gautama from the Shakyamuni clan. For Chinese, it was very hard to understand the idea of the only God, of the highest God, because Chinese usually speak about the general idea, like Dao, which is so-called the shapeless. Chinese never spoke about the one biggest or highest God. So for Chinese was a very big problem to understand what does mean the nature of Buddha, or in Chinese it's a Buddhahood, in Chinese 佛性. First of all, who was a Buddha? First of all, Buddha was a real person that lived in India and was trained in this old Hinduist tradition that was called at that time Brahmanism. So a lot of ideas, like an idea of karma, the idea of reincarnation came from Brahmanism. And for Indians, the idea of Buddha Gautama as a real person was just a normal, natural ideas. But for Chinese, all these ideas were quite new. So for Chinese, Buddha became more than an ideal of power, the ideal of the highest person, than the real person. That's why Chinese stressed a lot to the so-called the several bodies or several performances of Buddha, so-called Sanshan, three bodies. First of all, Buddha existed as a real person in a real physical body. And one day, this real person just died. Or as Buddhists said, Buddha came to the great eternal nirvana, Mahaparinirvana. So that Buddha who died never existed before and died at the right time, at the right place in India. So physically, Buddha already doesn't exist today. But beside his physical body, Buddha got a so-called the body of law, so-called the Dharmakaya. It means that Buddha explained his teaching, and his teaching became a mythical teaching that exists outside his physical body, that even outside of his speech. So, for example, when someone practiced Buddhism, he practiced this body of law, and in this case, he became attached to the Buddha, not the physical Buddha, but the eternal mystical Buddha. But beside the body of law that could be explained and understood, there is another one, so-called the mythical body or astral body of Buddha, Sambhogakaya. It means that every one of us, according to Buddhism, live inside some very big body. First of all, inside some power, some energy. It's the energy of Buddha. It's a Sambhogakaya. It means that we live inside the Buddha body. And when we understand, when we purify our mind, it means that in this time we just get attached to this body of Buddha. And that's why we could be not just behave like a Buddhist, but we could become a Buddha. That was one of the new things for Chinese. Because, for example, when we spoke about Daoism, we discussed that it is impossible to be a Tao. So we cannot be recognized as a Dao. You can be just attached to Dao. You can get very close to Dao, but Dao is something different from you. But in Buddhism, you can be a Buddha. You can become a Buddha after some practicing. So it's a more feasible way, and in this case, this way was quite understandable by Chinese. So everyone could be a Buddha. Just you should follow some practices. And that's why in this world, many Buddha existed before. Some Buddhists say that more than 6 million of Buddha already existed in this life. But we just know the names of the last 6 or last 3 Buddhas. All Buddhas that existed before the Buddha Gautama was called the Buddha egoists. They existed just for themselves. It means that they themselves knew how to get an enlightenment, how to practice this enlightenment. But all these Buddhas that existed before never explained these techniques to other people. That's why we call these Pratyeka Buddhas or Buddha egoists, Zifo, Buddha for himself. Buddha Gautama was great because he explained his way. So it means that he lived in instruction. That's why he was not just a Buddha, enlightened one, but he was a great teacher. And that's why Chinese followed, and not only Chinese, but first of all Chinese and Indians followed the three last Buddhas. The Buddha of the past, the Buddha of the present, which is the Buddha Gautama, and all Buddhists are waiting for the Buddha of future, so-called the Maitreya or Milafo in Chinese. Why all these Buddhas existed one after one? First of all, it's impossible to just meet Buddha as a physical person. But we live inside the body of Buddha, but step by step the power of Buddhist body drop down. It means that more and more sufferings produced in this world, more and more troubles, wars, famine exist in this world. So finally, we are waiting for the arrival of the new Buddha, Milafo, the Buddha of the future, which could bring joy and peace to this world. That's why all these three Buddhas you can see are put in the altar in every monastery, in every temple of Buddhism. In this picture, you can see they call the combination of Indian and Chinese images of Buddha. So we can see this Buddha in Nirvana, in the half-closed eyes. But when a little bit later, we'll see the Chinese image of Buddha, which is completely different, more joyful, more mundane. And Chinese Buddha looks like just everyday people that we can meet in the street. So this Indian Buddhas, which is more mystical that Chinese wanted to see them. Let's speak about the main notions of Buddhism that were accepted by Chinese. First of all, it's the idea of dharma. That was a very difficult how to translate dharma into Chinese. Chinese translated as a fa, which means law. Dharma combines several notions, several meanings. The first one, dharma, it's a way of Buddha himself. That's his teaching. It means that dharma existed long before the life of the Buddha Gautama. Dharma is just an eternal law. And Buddha just explained it to all of us what does mean dharma. So once again, it's a law, how to live, how to think, how to behave. At the same time, dharma it's small particles of this world. So all our world that we see around us is just a combination of different particles. Even myself, according to Buddhism, is just a combination of particles, of small dharmas. All dharmas could be bring together or could be separated. It means that nothing is in real life eternal. Everything is just our illusion, just a combination of dharmas. That's why everything that we can see, or we can feel, we can think, it's just an illusion. That's why dharma, once again, it's a law, and once again, a combination of small particles. Another point which is very important for Buddhism, it's a karma. Karma, it's when we translate karma from Sanskrit, it's just an act or just a action. But karma, it's in Buddhism, it's a combination of different actions, bad and good. All the seeds, all the deeds are brought together, and karma gives us hope for the new life or new reincarnation, or just a real hope to end all reincarnation. So it means that everything that we do in this life, even thinking, not just acting, affect to the future karma. So everything is just started from our thinking. That's why Buddhists should purify its mind. That was once again a new for Chinese, because for China, action was much more important than thinking. Buddhists say no, we should stress on the thinking, which is a basic for all our life. So that's why there are principal and secondary causes. Principal cause in Chinese is yin yang. Principal causes, it means our thinking. Secondary, that we can see. For example, if I follow very bad way of life, if I have made a lot of mistakes in this life, it's a secondary causes. To understand why I'm so angry, or maybe I'm not so loved by other people, I dislike by other people, I should look to the primary causes. First of all, it's my way of thinking, or maybe a bad karma that existed long before my physical existence in this life. Another point, that everything in this world is just illusion. It means that this world is empty. Emptiness, that the ideal way how to live and how to think. Nothing exist in reality. It means in Chinese kung or shunyata. Everything came from this shunyata. Everything should come back to the shunyata. So that's why our way of thinking should be pure and empty. Nothing should destroy my idea and my understanding of this life. Just emptiness. People who could follow all these ideas are called themselves in Chinese shaman. That came from Hinduism, from Sanskrit shraman, which are monks. There were also in Chinese so-called nigu or Buddhist nun that were also existed in China, and many nunnery existed in China even in the 1st and the 2nd century BC. So that's once again was very new for China, because in Daoism or even Confucianism nunnery didn't exist. So it means that for Buddhism, nuns or women, monks, could be at the same level and have the same chance to reach enlightenment as the men. So in this case, it was some kind of the equal development of man and woman in Chinese tradition. Once again, Buddhism brought in new ideas to Chinese cultural landscape. But you can ask me, what you should do to behave like a Buddhist? Not just follow all these very theoretical rules. No, say Chinese Buddhism, you can follow 3 main points or 3 milestones or 3 instructions. First of all, the first idea is just a rules or regulations, in Chinese lu. It means that there is a very strict rules how to behave, what to say and what not to say, how to behave with the monks, how to behave with the lay person. So rules should be first, and all teachings, all meditation should be the second. So it means that Buddhism proclaimed a very high priority of all rules, in Chinese lu. The second one, it should be concentration or meditation, chanting. Chanting could be translated as a meditation or just a chant Buddhism. It means that in all your life, in all aspects of your life, you are walking or sitting or meditating, you should be concentrated inside yourself. So nothing could disturb you. Concentration is the second point after the rules. And finally, after following the rules and following some concentration, you should reach a very high level of understanding. It means the wisdom. In Chinese, it's 智慧. Wisdom is not just an everyday knowledge, and not just an everyday understanding of what happens around us. It's understanding of the roots, understanding of the ideas of this world, that everything is just an illusion, everything is just a shunyata or emptiness. It means that inside this wisdom, we should, from this wisdom, we can regard everything that is around us. So first of all, behavior, then concentration, and then we can reach a wisdom. So from this point, you can be considered as the wise Buddhist, or not just a novice who tries just to imitate Buddhist life. So wisdom is much more important than the beliefs in Buddhist practice.